My first week was very unique, probably one that wouldn't happen to any other missionary. I arrived in my area, got matched up with my trainer, and when we got to our house, I pulled my luggage inside of our apartment, and my trainer informed me that we had been evicted from our apartment. And so we had to pack everything up that night because the next day we had to be out of our apartment. So the way, this is how Brazil is a little bit different than Utah, is the way they move from house to house is with these, basically those Volkswagen vans, and they chop the back off and they put a flatbed on there. So those really old Volkswagen vans, flatbed on the back, and you throw all of your stuff on top of there, and then they throw some ropes around it, and that's how you move your stuff from point A to point B. So we rented one of those, and we loaded all of our stuff up on there, which included, couches, beds, kitchen tables, anything that was in the apartment on top of there. And then we were driving over to another missionary's house where we were going to stay until we could find another apartment. In Brazil, normally, if you're on the apartment hunt, it's done by the missionaries and not by the office or anything else like that. So we loaded everything up, and I rode on the back, inside of a couch, on the back of the truck, as we drove over to the other place. And my companion was inside with the driver. There wasn't room for me inside. We get there, we unloaded, and we were in a very small room with 4 missionaries. So we were sleeping on the floor on our mattresses. Inside this first week, just some unique experiences that I had. There was a huge rainstorm that came in and flooded the entire apartment. So I woke up in the middle, or in the morning, and all my clothes were wet. Mattress was completely soaking, and then also in that same time we had rats in the house and different types of cockroaches that were crawling on us as we were trying to sleep, just because we were sleeping on the ground and the apartment wasn't very clean or anything like that. But that lasted for 7 weeks, sleeping in those conditions and living in those conditions while trying to learn the language, while trying to take a bus 45 minutes over to our area where we lived, or where we worked, to find a house to live in, as well as teach the investigators that we had. Some of the unique situations in that first week are you really don't speak the language. You are taught in the MPC to have almost like a memorized script of what you can say about each lesson. And so during that time, as we were teaching, I would say what I could, and then I would try as hard as I could to respond or to understand what the people we were teaching would say. One unique thing that I would do, and really benefited me as far as learning the language goes, in that first week, is I got a suggestion to take a little small notebook, and anytime I heard a word that I didn't recognize, to write it in that notebook. And that notebook filled up in that first week, 2 weeks, as I was hearing so many words that I didn't recognize. And every night when I got home, you had about 20 minutes after planning before you went to bed, and I would just go through the dictionary, write stuff down, ask my companion what those words meant, that type of thing. And in doing so, I became extremely proficient in the language quickly, because I was actively trying to learn the language, because I wanted to be more of a contributor in lessons and that type of a thing. So yeah, that's kind of the first week for me. Just jumped in with running and trying to figure everything out.